I'm going to turn my camera off. Am I frozen, babe?
No.
You look great.
Okay. All right, cool. Guys, welcome to the call. It's so good to see all of you. I am actually, Lisa's going to laugh at me, but I'm actually sitting on her favorite chair with no cushion in our apartment that actually has half the flooring in and half of the flooring not in, because we actually found out that we have a leak. And it's kind of, you guys, I'll just share this with you from my heart. I've always realized that God turns what we think is bad situations into good situations. I remember, I'll use a prime example. Stacy, who's going to share with us tonight, drove down to Bangor, Maine when I presented in Bangor, Maine. And we were like 3 minutes away from starting our event. And I was like, well, I guess we're not going to have any sound today. And Stacy stood up and said, hey, I got a connector in my truck. So he, in his servanthood way, runs out and guys, every time when you think that something's going to go bad, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, right? I texted Lisa right before Tucson Life Vantage Academy this weekend, and there was like 3 people there at 9 o'clock. Okay. Those of you that know me, I like to start on time. There ended up being about 25 people there. And the text messages that I received after, and most of the people have been in Life Vantage for 4 and 5 years. Even Blue Elam texted me and said that all of his 4 leaders that were there, that were Pro 5 and above, that had been in the company for more than 4 years, said it was the best Life Vantage Academy that they'd ever been to. Now, God has chosen us all to be a part of this for such a time as this. And I mean, even just seeing Michael right there and, you know, being a father, right. And being super excited about that, now being another father, and, you know, having 15 or 16 some elite distributors get their Jeep and obtain that status before he did, and he just kept pressing in and moving forward. And then he became a Pro 8, and then, you know, half of Asia is in his downline. And so God always knows what we need when we need it. And that's why even after losing distributors and stuff over these years, I have no desire to quit doing what I'm doing. I believe that with this new product that we have coming right now, that this is the piece that's going to send Life Vantage into momentum. And I'm super excited. I get to take my first pill tomorrow. I'm super excited about that. And it'll come, it's gonna be right before I go work out. So that's great. Tim Cox posted that he did some Axio and a NAD before he went to work out. And he said it was just incredible. No crash. And you guys know that almost 97% of the people that took it felt it within the first 20 minutes. And the other 3% felt it within the first 24 hours. Okay. So that is no placebo effect. That's actually your body feeling something that it's doing at the cellular level. So I left Life Vantage Academy yesterday with only 25 people in the room. The one I did the month before was in Kansas City, and people continue to text me afterwards and encourage me. And guys, you know what I realized this weekend, and I constantly learn this, is that one of the people that learned the most in the room this past weekend was me. I left there and I was super encouraged, just like tonight. When Stacy goes through this lesson that he watched and does, the person that's going to learn the most tonight is probably going to be him. And so I know that, Stacy, were you able to go? Were you in Maine this weekend?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Why don't you, before you start, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Okay. And I like to do that because I like it when people are stretched and like to just step out and tell people about themselves. Tell a little bit about your experience at Life Vantage Academy this weekend, because I know it had to be great just because of what I've heard and the feedback about. And Lisa and I can tell you that Marilyn is one of the best teachers in Life Vantage, because She's a Pro 8 and has, I think, 13 or 14 elite distributors underneath her, including Sherry Hollenbeck and Joe Bowen and a lot of the new Pro 7s and Pro 8s in the company. So her and Everett Schilling work together. Oh, Michael just said he's finally taken his first NAD too. So I'm going to turn this over to Stacy, and I'm going to let Stacy tell everybody a little bit about himself and then his experience with Life Fans Academy this weekend. And then I'm going to let him run with the lesson tonight because I'm super excited that he stepped up. And then when we're done, I know there's some other people that went to Life Vantage Academy this weekend. And if they want to share something, we'll let them share. So Stacy, I'm going to turn it over to you, brother, and I'm going to mute myself. So have at it.
Okay. I went down and seen Marilyn Johnson in Bangor. She was amazing. I'm glad you recommended me to go down to see her. I can kind of run through all the notes that I did take because it comes down to, I think I've got 7 pages on Marilyn Johnson. Wasn't really prepped for this one, but thanks, Mike, put me on the hot seat. Marilyn Johnson really emphasizes the mindset, making sure that your attitude reflects what you want to actually be, the things you want to become. Because if you're constantly doing the negative Nelly things in your head, that's what will happen to you with your business. If you're positive, going, yes, I can turn around, I can figure this out, I can get outside that box, I can actually do these things, and I'll figure out a way of getting it done. It does happen. Another big thing that she presented to us was making sure that you write your goals down. Anything that's not written down is a dream, and dreams never happen. If you don't write your goals down, it's like a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. She said, make sure that you write them down, put them on a board, and view them every day. Go over them every day, and sooner or later, the stars will align, and those dreams will actually, goals will actually happen. Okay.
Sounds like a perfect segue for you, Stacy.
Yeah. Yes.
To be honest.
Yeah. Prep for tomorrow. The best prep for tomorrow is doing your best for today, is one of the quotes that she actually told us out there. She was big on presenting stuff for the business, why she was in the business. Tax write-offs was one of her big ones. She was amazed at exactly what her accountant can actually make happen with her business. And she stressed that. Make sure that we do go and find a good accountant so that you can actually get the max benefit of what's going on. Because if you don't treat this as a business, you're not going to make it a business. If you want it as a sideline, there's easy. It's easy for you to miss a lot of the added bonuses that you could have by not turning around and going professional with it. You got something, Mike? Nope. Okay.
No, I was just saying that that's one of the things that I've learned about this business more than anything is the tax benefits is astronomical.
Yeah, she said she could write off almost everything. It comes down to, like she said, that she made X amount of dollars and her chartered accountant turned around and wrote off everything so that she ended up not paying any taxes last year, which is what everybody wants, isn't it?
Me too.
You don't want to pay the man any taxes or any more than you have to. What better way to do it? And that's a good way to explain it to the people that you're trying to get into the business. Even if you're not making money right at the moment, there's still stuff that you can write off. That was just one of the short things. I just kind of blew that one out of the water. With her team, she goes with the ABC Prime Time. And what was the other one? She's got 2 that they turn around and use for their team for presenting. ABC Time, plan on A, B.
Take your time, brother. No hurry, because I'm excited. I've already written some stuff down already. So just, I love it that you're saying these things, because when we're out teaching, it's always great to learn from other people what they learned and took away from this.
Yeah. Another thing she was stressing was the book club that they have at Building Depth with Marcel Needlehauser. Sorry.
Niederhauser.
There you go. They're doing right now the book called Goals with Brian Tracy. And she really said, if you really want to make your business happen, Building Depth is the place to be. And that book, with their book club stuff that they're doing, is really, really, really worth your while doing.
Yes, it is. You guys haven't bought that book, The Goals book by Brian Tracy? Get the book, guys. Marcel is doing a teaching on it every Monday.
She has the book, and she also has the audio tape. So she runs the audio in her car while she's driving, and does the university in the auto, as she called it, or the car university they call it. And she also turns around, reads the book, and does it with the book club. So she gets double whammies out of it. Short-term imbalance for long-term balance. You have to turn around and be able to get out of your comfort zone and build your team and get out of your comfort zone so that you can have long-term balance, which is your residual income that you will get from creating your team by being uncomfortable.
Amen. Amen.
She also turned around and talked about the lvcoaching.com for personal development.
Yep.
And it come down to, she was very strong on personal development, on reading books, builders read, and listen to audiobooks. So you use all your time to the best of your ability to actually increase your knowledge. Because if you look at how much time is wasted either listening to TV, listening to radio, when you could actually be gathering knowledge, it's phenomenal. If you actually booked it all out on a sheet of paper, dimes to donuts, you probably waste about 8 hours a day.
It's the only way to change your mindset.
Yeah.
By learning and growing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's tons of other stuff on here.
That's okay.
I don't know exactly how far you want to.
No. That's good. You go ahead and take off with today's lesson. That's good. So let's jump in there.
Okay. You want me to go into the mindset with
yes,
John Maxwell?
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Okay. The power of five, the different in mindset is what John Maxwell was talking about. Think correctly and writing, thinking, writing. Okay, we'll leave that alone. John Maxwell wrote a book. His first book that he wrote was Think of These Things. It was a book of 31 chapters. It was 100 pages long. So he turned around and he wrote this book. And out of that book, most chapters were about 3 pages long. And he said to himself and to one of the people that wanted him to autograph the book, he said that some of those chapters were 2 pages too long. And I found that really interesting. People see. Oh, one of his regrets is that people don't see him now. They see him as a successful individual. He wished he could have actually like videotaped himself or something when he was a struggling author, so that people could see exactly what grassroots he started out as and how he has progressed into the man that he is actually right now, because they have no idea of exactly how, excuse the term, bumbling he was when he was younger, trying to write these novels and stuff like that with zero to no knowledge, but he still turned around and tried it.
Yep.
Okay.
I pulled up the worksheet on the screen. Can you all see it?
Yes, I can.
And I'll type in the answers as you go through.
Okay, the most important thing is the gap between blank and mindset is important too. Okay. Mindset is created. Oh, I didn't freaking go by the sheet. I went by my notes.
That's
Sorry.
okay.
All right.
That's okay. Just keep
Okay.
going.
Elaborate, no biggie.
Okay. He said that the mindset is so important for coaches, teachers, surgeons to ensure that they are in the right zone when they actually go to do things. You imagine if your surgeon walked in there and he wasn't in the mindset to do surgery, but yet he had to turn around and replace your kidneys, and he went in there kind of bumbling around going, well, I don't really know what I should do with this, but I'll turn around and try it anyway. If he wasn't set there, your life depended on him doing it correctly. Now, you imagine if he didn't do it correctly, you wouldn't be here. And that's the thing that he stressed about mindset. Oh. When he wakes up in the morning, his first thoughts is gratefulness. He is grateful for actually being alive and being who he is. His second thought in the morning is prayer or meditation. And he turns around and asks for guidance when he turns around and gets up in the morning for help on what he needs to get done for that day. Goes through self-focus. What goes on? He focuses on what's going on the day, the good parts of the day, where he needs to focus his main amount of energy, and where he can turn around and actually slack off. He sets his schedule up so that his main amount of energy is used for the things that he wants to present really, really well. And the rest of it, he can kind of dwindle down and kind of just float through. But he has to make sure that he has that focused energy for the things that are most important, that need the most energy during that day. Who will get most energy and the division of your assets. Self-talk and talk to. Will affect you.
Oh my goodness.
Talk and listen to yourself. Oh, he's a big believer in talking to himself and listening to himself, so that he confirms what he's doing and why he's doing it, but he talks to himself out loud, so that it reinforces it in his head that this is what has to be done. Like all professional athletes, they do that. They'll focus on the task that has to be done in their mind before they actually do it. He does the same thing, but he also reinforces it by actually saying it all out loud, which I found really cool. And he said, if you got nothing good to say about yourself, don't say anything at all. And don't even think bad.
Love that.
Yeah, he said, don't even think bad stuff about yourself, because it will happen. I was actually at one of the stores, the dog food store. I went and picked up some stuff for my pets. And the girl behind the counter turned around, and I asked her what happened to her arm. She said she fell down. She says she's at the klutz. I said, don't say that. I said, because if you keep saying that, that's going to reinforce it, and you're going to actually be a klutz.
100%.
And she kind
100%.
of looked at me, and I said, it's true. If you keep saying that you're a klutz and you're klutzy and all that fun stuff, that's what's going to happen to you.
I
100%.
constantly tell people that. Stop saying it.
Exactly. But see, some people don't believe that if you stop saying it, things will actually change. I've got a whole bunch on the average people and the successful people, if you want me to read that stuff out.
Go for it.
Okay.
I'm taking notes.
Average people only see a point of view. The successful people see the big picture. The average people are stuck in a box. The successful people see how to get out of the box and question why there is a box in the first place.
Yes.
The average people go in many directions. Successful people are focused on main things.
The main thing is the main thing.
Exactly. Focus on one. You can't catch two rabbits. They're next to impossible. So you can't chase either one of them. You either chase one or you don't chase any.
Exactly right.
Average people hope for the best. Successful people face the facts. So they turn around and they figure out that, okay, this is what I got to do this. And other people are just sitting there hoping and dreaming, I'll buy my lottery ticket, I'll be rich one day. And it doesn't happen. I'm sorry to say. Lottery ticket is not the way to health and wealth. And usually the people that win the lottery tickets are the guys that usually totally destroy their lives by getting that kind of money anyway. Average people let life happen. Successful people are proactive. No, I'm going to. Oh, they're going to be intentional with what goes in their lives. The successful people. Average people allow circumstances to live with them. Successful people see the possibilities everywhere. Average people don't learn from mistakes. Successful people get value out of mistakes, and it doesn't stop there. They turn around and they learn, and they try not. They might make them again, but usually the success rate or the rate of them actually repeating themselves is fewer and far between. He also said that in his book, he was talking with one of his friends, and he said Rick doesn't pick his captain of his team until the 5th or 6th game. And I think it was either referring to a hockey game or a football game. And he was questioning why it took him the 5 or 6 games. And he said that it's because all the people that are on that team have a chance to prove themselves to see who is the most deserving for that position.
Yes.
For that year.
Exactly. The captain basically shows up and volunteers themselves in a way.
Exactly. And he said if you actually apply yourself enough, he said, then, and show that you're going to apply yourself over the 6 games, then you will be picked as the captain. You're not just going to get volunteered for that position.
Exactly.
And then he was saying, believe there's always an answer. This is what he was saying about why he would rather turn around and be a sower than a reaper, because he's in the mindset that he can turn around and do this, and he believes that there's always going to be an answer for every problem that's out there, and there's always more than enough for everybody that's out there to have their piece of the pie.
Yes.
And he said sowing is more important than reaping, more than enough than what I give is not what I get. He turns around and will give more than he ever possibly wants to receive, because that's just his nature. That's just the way he is. And that's just the way that he's teaching other people to be. If you're a giver, sooner or later, you will get back, but don't always expect a return on investment right away. You may turn around and invest into 8, 10 different people, and you might get something out of 2 of them. But if you expect to get out of every one of them, you're in the wrong profession, kind of thing.
Can I
Yes.
a little side note on that?
Go ahead.
About like investing or, reaping from what you've sown. Typically in our business and like with our efforts that we do,
Yes.
we don't see the changes or the benefits of who or what we've invested in for almost 90 days.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's a big thing I at least tend to sort of forget. It's like I make a change and I expect to see the changes of that change quickly, but you really can't. So when you've got something going on, stop, whether it's an increase or a decrease or whatever, stop, go back 90 days and see what you were doing then, because that's what's coming up now.
Exactly.
Yes.
I read a good testimonial just before I got on this call of a girl that was actually taking all the products, and she slowly weaned herself back off of the products And within a week or two, she was back into the same condition that she was prior to her actually taking the products. So she had seen that, yes, the products are helping her. She's back on all of them now, and she'll never get off of them. But she did herself as a, excuse the term, test dummy to see exactly whether or not this stuff was actually helping her out or not. And
Yes.
she found out in a big way that, yes, it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Stace. Anything else?
Nope. I think I've run to the end of this. And
No, that's awesome. I see that you've been kind of towards the end of the chapter there, but man, I took a couple notes here. That's why I had my camera off, because I was using my notes on my phone.
Okay.
Thank you so much for doing that. Does anybody want to interject anything or share anything that they took away from this? And then I'm going to, like Lori just said, that was good about the 90 days, right? Like if you look at how things evolve from that way, it's like the blessings in the waiting room. Absolutely. That's so good. Anybody else want to share something maybe that they took away from this lesson that has kind of resonated with them?
Hey, Mikey, this is Michael.
Hey, buddy.
I want to give Stacy big kudos, because it's the person that steps up to the front of the room that makes most money.
Yeah.
And I could tell that he was comfortable being uncomfortable doing what he's doing, and I give you big congratulations, because that's truly what it takes. It's like, it's not about being polished, and I think you were still polished in what you were doing. And Marilyn is an incredible leader,
Yes.
And so are you, Michael, and Lisa. And it's like you really did a great job. And it's like, and absolutely, you learned from it, but you helped us. Even I'm a Pro 8. I learned from it as well too.
Thank you, Michael.
So I want to thank you, Stacy. I just wanted to reach out and say that, bro.
Thank you
See
for
you in Long
sharing
Beach.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Guys, before anybody else goes, I want to share a piece. Does anybody else want to share? And then I'll share something. Anybody else want to share? Go ahead, babe. Unmute yourself.
I was just going to say, I kind of like circled, on number 2 on the worksheet. I still have it pulled up. The right mindset increases your potential, and that your potential is determined by your mindset. But the wrong mindset completely destroys your potential. I just kind of want to let that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The right mindset absolutely increases your potential, but probably even more so, the wrong mindset would destroy potential.
Yes.
Very much
And
so.
it's funny that you brought that up, babe, because I had so many people talked about the Life Advantage Academy in Tucson this weekend about mindset. And I shared this with Lisa, one of our dearest friends, PJ Dixon, who is completely handicapped in a wheelchair. He can use his arms to make his wheelchair go, but he can't lift his arms to feed himself. He weighs about 75 pounds, and I've never met an individual with the mindset like him. I shared today with the contractor, my friend Kyle, about how PJ's mindset is when it comes to eating and taking care of himself. I literally watched him. He let me help him a little bit, but he said, Mike, I realized that most people have 10 times more things than I have. And it's like, when people jump on these calls and if they're super listening and they're not distracted, they will get much more out of it, and they'll stay to the end of the call, and they'll pick something up every single time, rather than those who leave halfway, or they're doing something else, or they just show up for a little bit. And here's what I liked about PJ. He came in his wheelchair. He had somebody pick him up and bring him. The person has to lift him out of the car and put him on his chair. And then he came in and he stayed the whole 4 hours. And then he told me things that he took away. This guy's a public professional speaker, teacher, and coach. And he said, Mike, he said, it changed my whole mindset. And then when I watched him eat, he said, I could be embarrassed and stay at home and never go outside of the house. Or I could go outside and learn how to eat differently and still be able to socialize with people like you. And so I picked him up, put him in an Uber, drove down, had dinner with him. I watched him, how he responded with text messages with a stylus in his mouth, how he ate moved the food around on the plate with the fork, laid the fork down, and then ate with his mouth. And I said, oh my gosh. I thought, man, and I complain about the little things that happens in our life. And here this guy can't even feed himself and has to spend $1,500 a month to have somebody come to his house to clothe him and to bathe him and to set him on the pot in the toilet in the morning and at night. And I thought, and man, here I am complaining that, about the little things in life. But it's PJ's mindset. It's his mindset that he's going to be successful. And you know what? He started taking our products a couple months ago, and his health is starting to change. I told him, I said, PJ, in 6 to 8 months, he's going to add the NAD to the product. Guys, I'm telling you right now, your goal should be to print off these sheets. And I showed them to you guys last week. If you have not pulled them up and go to LVN Freedom Fighters, I put on there a sheet of the Ultimate Stack and the NAD products. Some of your customers who are not taking the NAD, you need to educate them and get them taking it. But I want you guys to use those sheets, print them off. I'm going to print them off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Kinko's tomorrow and I'm going to print off some of the sheets. And every time I sign somebody up on one of those products, I'm going to cross one of the things off the sheet. Why? Okay. Because it's a mindset, guys. Yeah. It's visually telling you what you're doing so that you have a goal in mind to do the things that you're going to do. And I wanted to read this to you guys. I want to read to you guys how important it is for you to attend a training once a month. Now, look, you guys know, you've heard me say this all the time, that it's important that you go to a training. But I want to read this to you because I want you guys to experience the power of what one person experienced at my Life Vantage Academy this past weekend. Her name was Adriana. She was a mother of 3. And she says, Michael, this is what she said. Michael, I cannot express how much I enjoyed today's training. Just last week, I was crying myself to sleep, wanting to give up on this business, thinking I was not cut out for this business. So thank you so much for blessing my life today with the tools I need to keep going and not ring that bell. Safe travels home. Thanks for allowing God to use you today to allow me to obtain the goals that he has for me. Adriana. Guys, this is what you miss when you don't attend events. This is what you miss when your business is not growing the way you want it to, and you don't, like Stacy, driving 4 hours one way, 4 hours to a training, and then 4 hours home. Why? Because he has this burning desire to learn and then go home and implement the things. Yeah. I can bet you that he'll start paying closer attention to his taxes. I bet you he'll start paying attention to having a different mindset that he has, right? Yeah. Like, and that's what it's about. It's about a mindset. So anybody else that attended a Life Vantage Academy this weekend, I want you to unmute yourself and share something that you learned while you were at Life Vantage Academy. Please don't be shy.
I want to share a couple of things.
Go ahead, Julia.
Okay, first, just going to the mindset. One of the main things that John Maxwell said to the start, he said, mindset is a choice. Mm-hmm. And we need to take responsibility of our choices. And that is really important for me, and it's a message I think at least I take it personal, and I know I'm starting to take that responsibility. Other thing that he said is successful people reflect in their mistakes, learn from them, and learn from their mistakes to do better, to know what to do better the next time. Those are the two things. And one of the most important things that I think it took my heart is like sewing is the most important thing. He doesn't think about reaping, but he just thinks about sewing. And I just want to say thank you, Mike, and thank you especially to my dear friend Lisa for sewing, because you guys have sewed so much in my life, are sewing so much in people's life. I know that this time is hard for you, but you guys are faithful, and I just want to recognize that in front of everybody that is here. So
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. I love you.
I went to Sherry Hollenbach meeting this Saturday. It was amazing, like always with her. I love her energy. She shared how she came to the testimony of how she came to the business, and of course she kept telling us we need to follow the 15 presentations a month, attend the trainings, and give to 5 years and persevere. There's a couple of thoughts that she gave that is really, for me, just were really important. And there is no growth in your comfort zone and no comfort in your growth zone. So I'm learning to stepping out of my comfort zone. So I'm excited, really. And, temporary imbalance for a long-time balance. We need to measure what is more important. A temporary imbalance, it will give us a long-time balance, and that I think is what we all are looking for. And something that I think, like at least for me, because I have been presenting, I have been talking, I have given sample to people, and I'm not too, I don't know, I guess there's things that still need to be working me, but there's the boomerang law. You will always get reward for the time you have put on, but not always in the way you think.
Yeah, true.
And I think
that's good.
So true. Say that again. That's good.
Say that one more time.
It's a boomerang law. You always get reward for the time you have put on, but not always in the way you think. So
that is awesome.
Life is never happening to you. Life is always happening for you. So everything that comes our way, we need to like, okay, what God is trying to tell us, and always look the good side. She was telling that one time she flew to, I think was to Texas. She was going to have a presentation. The person that was going to take her to the presentation bailed out, and she was like stranded in the hotel, in the airport. She started to talk with somebody, and she got a connection, and out of that connection, she has a new leg. So that's why, like, sometimes things happen that we think, oh, it's not gonna come or it's not gonna happen, but just always see the possibility of what we can do in that moment.
Not get caught up in the pity party.
Yep. And always stay in control of your business. Don't allow the people to manage you, but you have to always be in control. And she did a lot of very practical things. She asked questions. She made people interact. And we did a list. We did our schedule. It was a very, very practical teaching. And I think everybody that was there was really happy with all the teaching that she did. I'm just getting every day more excited.
Amen. Hey, I'm so sad for some of you guys in Ohio that didn't go to Cleveland. Marcel was there, and I heard it was unbelievable. So don't forget to sign up to go in November, you guys. If you haven't signed up for LifeVantage Academy in November, make sure that you sign up for LifeVantage Academy. A lot of you sometimes, you guys know you need to attend events. Sometimes it's hard. You know, like I had 3 people text me today that are trying to get to Long Beach. That's great. But I tell them, look, if you can't get to Long Beach, get to LifeVantage Academy. It's where you learn and you grow. Summer and Rob say it all the time. Their teams grow the most when they're at Building Depth in LifeVantage Academy. Does anybody else want to share? Thank you, Julia, for sharing. Anybody else?
The Building Depth in December, is that a Friday, Saturday, or is it a Saturday, Sunday?
It's all day Friday and all day Saturday.
I'm gonna have to check with school and see if I can.
If you want to know more about it, Stacy, go to Building Depth 5x5. So 5x5.com. Building Depth 5x5.com.
Cool.
So nobody else went to LifeVantage Academy this weekend, huh? I see a lot of Atlanta people on here right now. There's at least 7 of you on here. Nobody else go to LifeVantage Academy this weekend? Actually, I see 8 people from Atlanta on here.
Hey, Michael, it's Destiny.
Hey, Destiny.
I went to LVA.
Tell me about it. Who'd you have?
We had Brian and Holly Highfield, and they were great. Yep. So one of the first things that I wrote down in my notes, that the reasons that we make for ourselves of why we're not growing our business, all those reasons are just excuses. So, and I posted something on Facebook this morning that I saw. First thing that it says, you know, no one's impressed by your excuses. So, so I'm going to stop making excuses or reasons why it's not working and just work it. And simplicity, Lord knows that's one thing I need in my life, just to make everything more simple, including my invites, including when I talk to people. They mentioned, let them smell the brownies, don't let them taste the brownies. So
yeah.
Yeah, so pique the curiosity, but just you know, don't give them more than what they need, because
dangle the carrot, right, Destiny?
Yeah, that's right. Yep, and they'll come to you. And exactly. I've learned the hard way with I've got a couple of people that, you know, I just threw it all out there, and really when it comes down to it, they've got crazy, stupid questions that really don't make a difference. You know, and so they said if somebody has these ridiculous questions like what's the chemical compound, blah blah blah, you know, just ask. Is that what's going to prevent you from saying yes or no to this? Is that something that's stopping you? Because really, ultimately, it's not, and it's not. Nope. It's not relative. So, you know,
that's good.
Yeah. So it was really cool, and so that's really just staying in control of your business, and because that's the kind of stuff that makes it more difficult, you know, and we don't need to be scientists. So they made, I thought it was hilarious. They said, we don't need a lot of mini McCords running around. So all you have to do is just get them to the information, you know, that's it. Yeah. So it was really informative. And, you know, they talked about the blueprint and how, you know, you could go through the blueprint and spend, you know, 4 hours with each person when they first sign up. But, you know, really you just want to, when I get someone to sign up as a distributor, I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when, you know, just touch on the basics, just to basically how to get them paid and just get them going. So I'm excited about the new product, and they talked about that a lot. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I have, like, of course, I have the notebook, but that's the basics mainly.
No, I'm glad that's what you took away. That's awesome. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I just opened up our cabinet, and I can't wait I'm so excited. I can't wait to take my first one tomorrow. Super excited. So thank you, Destiny, for sharing. Anybody else?
I want to share what Destiny told me Chris had told her, unless Chris wants to share it himself, about, you know, when somebody doesn't want to do the third party call, they don't want to talk to anybody else. It kind of plays exactly with what Destiny was even just talking about. That what Chris, and this is through Destiny, so correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just basically reading your text message, that basically Chris says, if you think you can do the business without working with the team, then there's no reason to even get started. When you try to do it by yourself, you always come across trashy and salesy, and your business will not grow. Third-party validation has to happen. It just does.
Wow.
So Chris, could you elaborate on that a little bit? Are you still on? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm still on. And first thing I wanted to just say, go Cardinals, but we'll leave that alone because they swept Wrigley. But yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it is the most crucial stepping stone of getting the person moving in the right direction. Too many times we find ourselves, and I have a guy, and I'm pretty sure he's on this call, and he'll tell you, is a perfect example. When you don't do the calls, the people don't sign up. When you do the calls, the people sign up. And the guy has moved through a ton of people. I did the same thing. I actually ended up selling a bunch of Pro Tandem, and that's all I did. But I didn't build a business. I didn't have a stepping stone. I didn't duplicate it all. So it's very, very crucial that it's not something that we're trying to force people to do. It's showing them, hey, listen, this is how you're going to be successful, because this is what you're going to teach your team down the line to continue to do. And that's how you build. You have to teach the proper duplicating steps. And that third-party validation is the start of it. You can't build this business without it. It just won't happen. So that's what I was explaining to her.
That's perfect. And not only is it that, it's setting the proper expectations. It's staying in control of your business. And for me, what kind of comes to mind is a bit of self-respect. It's, I know what I have, confidence maybe. I know what I have. I don't need you as much as you actually need me. So when we do a little bit of that takeaway, then they're going to be like, and really start to think about it and reconsider.
Guys, the key important thing that you take is that you should be constantly giving value to people every single day. The more people you build relationships and give value to, the better those relationships are going to be. And I learned this the hard way in our business. Like, I literally think that Lisa and I would be a lot farther along, and I don't do this anymore, but I believe we'd be a lot farther along had I not wanted this more for people for themselves than I wanted it for them, right? They didn't want this as bad. And when rejection came, they succumbed. And let me tell you what, that girl, Adrienne, that I read, her husband is a coal miner. She's got 3 kids. And you know what she told me? She said, Michael, I said, what was your most important thing that you felt you took away from today? She says, number one, you built a relationship with everybody in the room and you involved anybody. She said, but you made me stand up in front of the room and tell my story. And when she was telling her story, every single person in the room was weeping. Of course, there was only 25 people in the room, but, okay, they were passing tissues around, and she stood up and was crying. How many people in that room do you think wanted to join her in business when they heard her tell her story about how now she's able to pay as a Pro 4, almost a Pro 5, she's able to pay, for extra things for her kids. And her goal is to get to Pro 5 Summit so that she can eventually get to Pro 6 and Pro 7 and retire her husband. That's how you continue to do. And you know what? There were so many people there this weekend that it was their husband's first time they had been to an event, right? And I thought that was cool because I like to engage them. So I engaged the husbands, right? And the husbands, the 2 of the wives texted me and said, oh my God, my husband has never wanted to do this business, never wanted anything to do with it. They said, but you made it about the people and not about yourself. And the opposite was that for me for the longest time. I really wanted it. I didn't really want it for myself, but I wanted it more for them. Okay, because when other people get what they want, then you get what you want, right? So before we go, does anybody else want to share anything else, or maybe something that's just kind of caught their eye, or maybe that's been on their heart that they want to share before we go? Honey, you getting ready to say something? You have to unmute.
I was just saying we need a volunteer for next week. I already posted the video and the PDF worksheet.
Yeah, come on, guys. Lori, I see you're on there. Why don't one of you guys step up and do it? Who wants to step and do it? Linda, somebody on there. Who hasn't done it yet that will do it next week? I mean, we love doing it.
Beth?
Who's that?
I was saying Fred or Beth.
Whoever,
Also.
just somebody besides us. Guys, step out of your comfort zone and step up to the plate.
Fred and Beth already did it.
Let me do it. Tell me what I'm going to do.
What'd you say?
That's right.
What, honey?
Volunteering, so tell me what I'm going to do.
Oh, she's volunteering, she said.
Okay.
So Lisa will help you with that.
Okie dokie.
Perfect. Thank you for volunteering.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Awesome. Cool. So, guys, I also want to tell you that this is something that we talked about and I've been hearing and reading about on the Elite page, is that they want people to start going back and checking their credit cards of people. And they want us to continue to build relationships and follow up with people that haven't been using the products in a while. Go back and start to tell them, guys, use that article from the Wall Street Journal. Do you know that in that room that I was in, no one had seen that article from the Wall Street Educator, and no one knew what the p-value of Protandim is? Okay? There's a lot of things that people don't know because we haven't educated them on those things. Okay? Who else? Did somebody say something? They had something they wanted to share, babe? Is that what you're saying? Okay. All right, guys, last chance. Anybody else have something they want to share before we go? Thank you guys so much for joining tonight. It was awesome.
Hey, this is Destiny again.
Go ahead.
They mentioned using LinkedIn to prospect, to find prospects. And I thought that was really cool. She said that you could reach out to people you don't even know because it connects you to different people that have the same careers or same, whatever. And she had this script that she said that she uses basically, so, hey, I'm sorry I haven't reached out to you before, but I see we have the same, you worked in the same field as I did, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to grow a business. Would you be open to being a part of that if it didn't conflict with what you got going on already? And I thought that was really cool because you can literally say that to anyone and you would have to have it doesn't sound too salesy. It just literally is connecting the fact what you have in common and asking them if they want to be a part of it,
Or learn more. Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
and
exactly.
I actually have Destiny, which I'm going to do next. I'm going to do this week, and I'll share it with you guys on video this week. I did a teaching from Building Depth on how to use LinkedIn to get prospects. So I will share that on video this week and get it to you guys so you guys can learn how to join groups and use LinkedIn. I've already gained about 30 contacts in the last 2 weeks. So if you guys want that, I'll get it to you. Anybody else? All right, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
How big is that apartment? You seem to be walking for a very long time.
Right?
How you
Hey,
doing?
Mike, I'm getting my steps in, bro.
There you go.
If there's a lot of empty floors, my brother, you can see it's concrete, right?
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Now, except for the bedroom. It's got the flooring down in the bedroom. So we had to stop because we had some water damage. So
Okay. I thought you had a mansion going on or something to walk in.
one day, brother, you keep speaking that for me.
Absolutely.
I receive it. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Tonight was a great call. I feel super encouraged. I don't know about you guys. Stacy, great job. I took some notes, really encouraged me about things that positive people do and that leaders do. I'm super encouraged by that. So my wife will stop the recording and we will see you